Hi, boys and girls. Welcome back to Library Land. Here is chapter 24 of Stargirl. Roadrunner. No one said the word directly to me, but I kept hearing it since I arrived at school one day, several days after the kiss on the sidewalk. It seemed more dropped behind than spoken, so I kept walking into it. Roadrunner. Was there something on the plywood Roadrunner that I should see? I had study halls coming up third period. I'd look into it then. In the meantime, I had second period Spanish. As I headed for my seat, I looked at the window, which faced the courtyard. There was something written on the Roadrunner, all right, but I wouldn't have to go outside to read it. I could read it from here. I could have read it from a low-flying airplane. White paper? No, it was a bedsheet. Covered the whole bird. Painted on the sheet in broad red brushstrokes was a Valentine heart enclosing the words, Stargirl loves Leo. My first impression was to drag the Spanish teacher to the window and say, "Look, she loves me!" My second impulse was to run outside and rip the sign away. Until now, I had never been the target of her public extravagance. I felt a sudden strange kinship with Hilary Kimball. I understood why she had commanded Stargirl not to sing to her. I felt spotlighted on a bare stage. I couldn't concentrate on my schoolwork or anything else. I was a mess. At lunch that day, I was afraid to look at her. I counted one blessing. I had not yet worked up the nerve to sit with her each day. I kept stoking the conversation with Kevin. I felt her presence, her eyes, 3 tables to my left. I knew she was sitting there with Dory Delson, the only friend who had not deserted her. I felt the faint tug of her gaze on the back of my neck. I ignoring my wishes, my head turned on its own, and there she was, smiling to beat the band, waving grandly, and horrors, blowing me a kiss. I snapped my head back and dragged Kevin out of the lunchroom. When I finally dared to look again at the courtyard, I found that someone had torn the sign away. Thumbtacks at the corners pinned 4 white scraps of bedsheet to the plywood. I managed to avoid her by taking different routes between classes, but she found me after school, came shouting after me as I tried to slink away. "Leo! Leo!" She ran up to me, breathless, bursting, her eyes sparkling in the sun. "Did you see it?" I nodded. I kept walking. "Well?" She was hopping beside me, punching my shoulder. "What do you think?" What could I say? I didn't want to hurt her feelings. I just shrugged. "Wow, that impressed, huh?" She was mocking me. She reached into her bag and pulled out her rat. "Maybe he's shy, Cinnamon. Maybe he'll tell you how thrilled he was at the sign." She set him on my shoulder. I yelped. I swept the rat off and sent him flying to the ground. She scooped him up and stroked him, all the while staring at me dumbstruck. I could not face her. I turned and walked on alone. She called, "I guess you don't want to hear me practice my speech, huh?" I did not answer. I did not look back. The next day, I faced the full impact of the sign. I thought I had truly suffered from the spillover of Stargirl's shunning, but that was nothing now that the full torrent was turned on me. Of course, Kevin, thankfully, talked to me. So did a few other friends. But the rest was silence, a second desert imposed upon the one I had already lived in, where high was as rare as rain. I came to the courtyard in the morning before opening bell, and all I saw were the backs of heads. People shouldering past me, calling others, doors closed in my face. There was laughter, there was fun, but it skipped over me like a flat stone on water. One morning, I was running a teacher's errand. I saw someone named Renshaw walking across the courtyard. I barely knew the kid, but we were the only 2 in the courtyard at the moment, and I had to, so to speak, touch the stove that I knew was hot. "Renshaw!" I called. There was no other voice but mine. "Renshaw!" He never turned, never wavered, never slowed down. He kept walking away from me, opened a door, and was gone. So what? I kept telling myself. What do you care? You never speak to each other. What's Renshaw to you? But I did care. I couldn't help myself from caring. At that moment, there was nothing more I wanted in the world than a nod from Renshaw. I prayed that the door would burst open, and he would be there saying, "Sorry, Borlock, I wasn't listening. What did you want?" But the door stayed closed, and I knew what it felt like to be invisible. "I'm invisible," I said to Kevin at lunch. "Nobody hears me, nobody sees me. I'm the friggin' invisible man." Kevin was looking at his lunch and wagged his head. "How long's this going to go on?" I demanded. He shrugged. "What did I do?" My voice was louder than I intended. He chewed. He stared. At last he said, "You know what you did." I stared at him like he was crazy. I badgered him some more, but of course he was perfectly right. I knew exactly what I had done. I had linked myself to an unpopular person. That was my crime.